New videos every day. Life, wisdom, Psychetruth, massage.
Okay, this is Athena Jezik, and I'm going to just massage Corrina's back. I'm just getting a little feel for it right now. Even though I've done her many times, I still like to start out that way. We want to see her good and relaxed. Being able to just relax and kind of disappear from things that are going on in the world and all of that. So I have a question to all of you. And the question is, what is it that stresses you out in your life the most? Is it your job? Is it your relationships? Is it your kids? Is it your boss? Is it traffic? Is it money? Things are kind of tight for some of us, money-wise. And when you get stressed out, I want you to also think about how that makes you feel physically. Does it change your appetite? Does it make you feel anxious? Does it give you less patience, especially around maybe young kids, young children, or pets? And if you think about that, then I want you to also think about how your body feels when you're in that stress state. You know, does it feel like, does your heart beat faster? Does your stomach hurt? Do you get headaches? All that's important to be in touch with. Where my stressors are is I don't get too stressed out in traffic unless there's somebody that's really slow on the freeway in front of me. But I'm not quite as radical on the road anymore as I used to be when I was younger. I used to be extremely impatient, and it would just rile me up something fierce, and I was not calm from that moment on until I started to realize it's kind of stupid to get upset about other people on the road because they have a right to be there, and I'm making up stuff. So I just get into the flow of it now and give myself a little more time, and it is what it is. I can't change it. So why get upset? I think a lot of our points of stress are because we get upset about something that we really can't change. And we probably don't even realize that's what we're doing. Another thing that gives me a little bit of stress, although it's a handleable stress, is I'm getting ready to leave out of country. And of course, my clients here are not wanting me to go for as long as I'll be gone. So my pages are getting very, very packed. And sometimes I schedule people with a little bit more time in between, and I can't get somebody in, and it backs up into somebody else, and that's what causes a little bit of stress for me, although I'm learning how to relax into that, because the people that do come here understand that sometimes that happens, and they don't mind waiting, and they know that they're going to get a good session. So by eliminating that feeling of anxiousness or stress when my schedule is really tight, I'm able to carry into the treatment room a much calmer person in myself, being myself. So I am not as stressed, and therefore I can get into the work easier and put the right kind of energy forward for the session to be beneficial, so the person who's coming for this can get a full session of relaxation and not have to work through my little 10 or 15 minutes of calming myself down. Because even though they may come in and they'll get relaxed on the table, there's still an energy there that they're able to pick up on at some level. And I can tell when that happens because the sessions do change as far as my awareness of my stress points. If they're there, I don't feel like I do as good a job. Even though results happen, I just don't feel that it's as good as it could have been. So stress is interfering with me, but I'm learning how to take that aside and not be bothered by things like that. Because truth be, everything works out in the end anyway. It is what it is. There's a man that I'm taking classes from I've been doing that for a while. He comes to town about once a month. His name is Dr. Morgulin. And one of the things that he said that's really quite true about life is the only thing that we can control is our own self, but we can't really control a lot of things around us. So he draws life as an analogy of a sailboat going sailing. And when you go sailing, you have to rely on a breeze, and you have sails, and they're set a certain way to go in a certain direction. So you're aiming yourself towards that piece of shoreline or your goal or wherever you want to have in life. You're aiming it in a particular direction, and you have full control of the boat. But then the wind comes along and blows you every which way. So the choice can be either let the wind blow you off course, blow me off course, or let it capsize if it's a really big wind, or I can just decide to move the sail and continue going in pretty much the same direction. So life got a little harried and a little scrambled while I'm rapidly changing the sail, but I haven't missed a beat in where I'm going, where I'm headed, and I didn't have to get a lot of emotional stuff involved to bring up the stresses and trigger the adrenaline and create all of that internal response. Okay, so going into the next side of the back, I'm not going to be able to go to the other side, so I'm going to just work it from this side. So those of us that want to see a world that's a little less frantic, maybe a little kinder, it really and truly does come from our own self within. Because if we're going to get stressed over things that we can't influence or we can't change, then there's no need to get all goofy about it, because we can't do anything about it anyway. But if there are things that you can change, and there's a lot of things that influence in the world, but that takes an action to go forward and make some changes that we don't like. That would be a nice positive way to direct the stress that we trigger up, feeling helpless or feeling disempowered. And there are things we can do. And there's very important things we can do. It just takes a little bit of work and a little bit of getting out of our comfort zone and trying something different. Now, I like to imagine what it would be like if people, instead of just tending to their stress and maybe after work, relaxing with food or drink or whatever else, if instead began to get a passion I wonder how much more gratification and how nice that would feel to be involved in something that you're actually going to change. It would be much more empowering to find something that you care about, because there's a lot of horrors in the world, and there's plenty of horrors to go around, but one person can't do it all. What I have found by doing that in the area of health services and bringing people to a point to understanding there's other ways of dealing with health is I found that I am more relaxed this way because I'm on focus to something. And even if they don't get it, it just doesn't matter so much anymore because there's more of a focus and there's an action behind it. And things are changing. I see it. I see things differently. It's not like I don't feel so defeated, like I'm just going the wrong way on the river. So stress can play a really big role in your health. So it's important to figure out ways to relax. So if you want to comment on that, about what stresses you out and how you deal with it and how you feel about it, maybe you can even think about how you could change it, which would be an interesting thing to do. I'm at the point now in my life where I feel like part of my humanity is lost when I just get caught up in the endless cycle of stress, where I don't get anything done. I don't even give good sessions when I'm under a high level of stress. And we can do a lot of things on the outside that might help, like breathe or meditate, but there's a condition deeper in our heart, in our self, that we have to address. And usually those are emotions that are more like entities. They're not going to empower us. They're going to hold us in place, which are like fear or anger or resentment. And those are the things that will keep us in stress. So hopefully Corrina is not stressed right now, even though it's freezing in here and outside, and that she can begin to experience what it's like to have every day be a day of being relaxed and just taking it in for what it is and not getting all bent out of shape over something that we can't really change, but we can influence. We can change ourselves and let go of the things that we want to control. So, even though I was talking through all of this, Corrina's body is very relaxed. The muscles are pulling me in with pretty good pressure. Okay.